Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Philly Fan Radio. I'm your host, John Myer, along with Dan Palmieri, and we are going to talk about the Eagles versus the Rams. We would have done this earlier in the week when it was fresh, but we actually had to settle down a little bit because this game was freaking wild. Dan, before we even talk about the game as a whole, I've got a little fun thing to play. You and I are going to do this recording as if it ended in the first half. Literally, right after the second quarter, that is the end of the game, and I want to get your immediate reaction to it. Dan, ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Goddamn ridiculous. Fire Kevin Patullo because I've had enough of this shit. His passive attitude is just ridiculous. The play calling was the worst I've seen in a long, long time. Probably even worse than Brian Johnson. Honestly.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I know. Rough. I've never seen such just incompetence by an offensive coordinator. And watching it, I can't even say that it's like Jalen Hurts. I can't say that it was really the offensive line. There were some injuries that took place. But, I mean, the play calling was just atrocious. I don't understand how you only give one target to A.J. Brown. I mean, it's like the offense has forgotten how to pass the goddamn ball, and you can't play to lose. It's
Actually, that's what it is. They are playing to not lose, and one of the biggest things when I saw, and first of all, you would have not expected this from the start of the game. The start of the game, there were 4 plays, intercepted by Zack, and the Eagles go for a touchdown. I mean, literally, it was like the perfect start of the game. And Dan, I'm sure you were like me. I'm like, this is going to be good, man. We're coming in here to rock the house, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bond was all over the place. Even when they were bad, like really, really bad, Bond was the one guy who looked like he had effort. I mean, I was concerned because at the start of the game, yeah, we got the turnover, go down right for the touchdown, great. And then once the Rams got the ball, it wasn't necessarily that they were passing all over the place. It was they were just running up the gut and right at the areas of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. So it was concerning, greatly concerning of that, because I expected more out of that. I didn't expect our rush defense to be so gaping, because watching it live, the holes that he was going through were pretty simple. And I just sat there thinking to myself, I'm like, they're making it look so easy. How come we don't run it like that? Why is Saquon getting hit in the backfield?
All the time. Seriously, all the time we are running it up the guy, and we have Saquon Barkley. Why are we not breaking it? Why is he not having? We're the third game here, right? Why is he not having a breakout game? I think he's been under 100 yards in every single game, right?
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that we as a team last year, now I think the percentages might be off, but we ran the RPO formation. I think it was like 56% of the time, which was a full 15% more than any other team in the NFL. This year, we're running 18%. Why are we going away from something that was working so well? I understand defenses adjust, all this other horse shit about, this stuff, but you're going away from something that was a proven winner to you. Keep running the goddamn thing until they prove they can stop it. Instead, you're preempting it, running something else, running out of the pistol, which I swear to God, if I see the pistol again, I'm going to start throwing snowballs at Kevin Patullo, and it's not even cold out. But you run out of the pistol, it's ridiculous. And like you said, they're running up the middle. You have Saquon Barkley. Get him on the edge. Get him off the edge. Run some goddamn motion. I watch these teams weekly, and it's like they got elementary offensive coordinators out there. It's not like they have world beaters. I mean, why can't we just get a adequate offensive coordinator? With this roster, all we need is an adequate offensive coordinator to put up 30, 35 points a game. Instead, we're dealing with fucking Mr. Rogers out there trying to put on a sweater like, oh, we should just be nice to the other team. No, stop this. I can't stand it. It's like, why are we not the aggressive team? On defense, we got an attitude. We punch people in the mouth. I love it. On offense, it's like, let's sit down and have tea. Let's have a tea time with the other team. It's just, I can't stand it. And I can't blame the players because the players are all saying the same thing. We're too passive. So something needs to change. And
one of the biggest things, though, in this game is that Lane Johnson went out early with a neck injury, and Matt Pryor came in, and from that point on, Hurts was under pressure, sacked twice, clothesline, like the whole 9 yards. He could not get anything going because it was just being let loose. And it took, now, mind you, everybody, we're just talking and pretending like the game ended in the first half. At this point, Matt Pryor and Kevin Patullo, I'm not sure what you are doing with this offense, but you have weapons everywhere you look, from run to receiving. Like, literally, your tight ends are top notch. Like, why are we not doing this? And why are we not disguising, doing some motion, like some cool freaking plays? Instead, it's vanilla shit that literally anybody can decipher. Hey, listen, they're going to run. They're going to pass. There is no, hey, listen, we're not sure. So now the linebackers have to stay home. And you know what? I can't go any further because I'm going to start bleeding into the second half of what happened in this game. But seriously.
The craziest thing is that one of the complaints I always had with Brian Johnson was they would get blitzed, and his counter to the blitz was, let's run 4 verticals. You don't have time to let the plays develop downfield. So I watched the game, and Hurts is being blitzed like constantly this year, and it's because they're trying to force him to pass, which is fine, I guess, but they're trying to stop Saquon, which I understand. But every time he's being blitzed, I'm watching, and they're doing long, developed routes. Like, there's no... the only short route...
3 to 4 seconds to get going,
right.
And he's only got 2.
Yeah, and the only short route, or the only play I see that they are running that is a short intermediate route, is that stupid-ass bubble screen to the wide receiver that gets hit in the backfield every goddamn time. That's it. Otherwise, you're running 4 verticals, or you're running crossing patterns that are 12 yards down the field. Why don't you bring a guy in motion and have a mesh concept and run a pick? Everybody else in the NFL does. Run a pick.
Exactly. Okay, everybody, we were really kind of trying to recap right here what the beginning half of the game was and our immediate reactions. Dan, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. That might be too long. 20 seconds. Literally tell me the ending of this game. Well, the ending of the first half. Your immediate results. I know you said fire Kevin Patullo or whatever on it, and then I want to jump into really the entire game. Go, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, the summary is that I understand if we have a new OC. I understand all these things he's learning on the job, but the simple fact is you're not running basic concepts. You're not giving your players an opportunity to succeed. A coach's number one job is put your players in a position to succeed. You're not doing that. So flat out changes have to be made. And we'll go into the second half as to how those changes were made. But it's disappointing to watch an all-pro offense at all 3 levels just falter like that.
Dan, you were saying learning on the job. There's only one time you're really learning on the job for the NFL is if your team is already 1-14 and you fired a head coach and you have an interim, you are learning on the job. They're okay with that. Or you fired the OC because you are 1-14. At this point, Kevin Patullo has been with Nick Sirianni since his reign, since he started for the Eagles. And I just would love an experienced OC coming in and doing some cool ass shit around the team. And he's got all these weapons ready to go and throw and utilize it. I really think we're not using our wide receivers as much as possible. We said this last year, and then they blew out the Steelers by throwing all over the place. But if you really look at it, and now I want to talk about the game and entirely, and my comment that I'm going to make is, When the second half started, by the way, the Eagles went like 4 3-and-outs. It was very freaking horrible to watch in the entire game.
31 total yards in the first half.
Yeah, it was completely horrible to watch this actually develop. If you notice, when they started throwing the ball and getting it to the receivers, AJ, doesn't matter, Devontae, did you see the defense back up? They gave them respect that they're going to throw it, which opens it up for Saquon when you do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the immediate response was what you would expect. When they started passing the ball, originally they were lined up in more of it was a 3-4 or 4-3 with the safety was down in the box. And they only had one safety because the other one was usually blitzing off the edge. They hit that long one to AJ, I believe, was the first one, and immediately they went to two safeties. So they had safeties playing over the top, which then, if you watch, they didn't really run it that much because they were so far behind most of the time. But when they did run, you were seeing, those 6, 7, occasional 8-yard carries that they were finally getting holes because they weren't putting 8 men in the box.
His longest run was 12 yards. We were all happy for that. I mean, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, it was even opening up the lanes in the middle because of the fact is that you don't have those linebackers blitzing. You have to finally respect the pass. And the hope is that he learned from that. And the one thing that I will say, because I know you weren't at the game, was that during commercial breaks, I've never seen Hurts really get too animated, too pissed off. I've seen him, but during commercial breaks, he was livid, screaming at Patullo. Like, I can't read lips, but it was basically one of those conversations you have with somebody that says, I'm taking over, shut the hell up, and that's the end of it. Because whatever you're doing is not working.
All right, I got something cool to say. Were you listening to WIP, Hugh Douglas, at all?
Yeah, where he said that he sat his coordinator on the bench or something like that.
No, I'll get to that. Hold on a second. Everybody, so the Eagles won. They're 3-0, 33-26. Really a huge part to Jalen and Jordan Davis. This is the block punts. I mean, this was freaking awesome to do this. I do want to get to the good, the bad, but I'm going to jump right in there because he did. He said, I got it written down. I gotta go to this. Where's my let's see. Here it is. Hugh Douglas, reckless speculation, right? He goes, what happened at halftime is somebody got slapped. He said, and he was literally animated about this. Walked up, slapped somebody, Patullo, whatever it is, and supposedly, and he is definitely speculating that Nick or Jalen took over the play calling for the offense. I'm just talking about what Hugh said. I have no insider knowledge on it, but everything changed from there. It was totally a 180 on play calling, going out. It was a different team in the second half. And when Hurts was animated towards Patullo, we were 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third quarter, and he was still livid, even though they were coming back.
Yeah, because you were still seeing some of the remnants of that. It wasn't until they ran hurry up, which forces Jalen to run his checks at the line, and, I don't know whether or not they were calling 2 plays in the huddle, or Jalen was calling on the fly, but whatever it was, it worked. And it just was a simple fact of they were finally passing the ball. And I think, since the bye last year, we all saw what happened. They went to a run-heavy team. They tried to be pass-heavy. They went to a run-heavy team. And that's all well and good. But last year was more of a situation where you run the ball to set up the pass. Yep. That's just the way it was because nobody knew that Saquon was going to be a wrecking ball. This year, because everybody does, you're going to have to pass the ball to set up the run. Yep. And you need to adjust, and that's exactly what they did in the second half. So the takeaway from that is I don't give a shit who was calling the plays. Start calling the plays because Nick came up and said, yeah, it was Kevin Patullo calling the plays. He'll say that regardless, but I don't care if friggin' Lane Johnson was calling the plays with a clipboard from the sideline because he was injured. Have that guy call the play because it's just ridiculous.
Much better than what Patullo was doing. I'm sorry.
It's hard to believe that Patullo was calling the plays in the second half because it was like a complete change of philosophy, and you only got 15 minutes at halftime to do all this stuff. You can't tell me that he basically changed the entire offensive philosophy at halftime. So something
we talked
changed.
about it now, and Vic Fangio said you're not changing at halftime. He goes, literally halftime is 12 minutes. It takes me time to get downstairs and back upstairs. He goes, there's adjustments throughout the game. In this case, there was an adjustment at halftime. Somebody either, I gotta say it, Hugh. I mean, somebody got slapped. Somebody got there. Listen, man up. Not like was beating them, but literally the Eagles are 3-0. And Dan, you and I definitely agree. This is one of the best comebacks we have ever seen, including the Eagles, their comeback behind win. I mean, we saw it, in week 1 when the Buffalo Bills were losing so bad and people were leaving the stadium and all of a sudden they came back and win. This was awesome.
Yeah, you saw all phases just start to click. The offense was finally clicking. The defense finally got a break and they were able to catch their breath a little bit. And, like you alluded to, special teams was ridiculous. I mean, Jordan Davis just somehow running 19 miles an hour, jumping higher than any basketball player, and he's like 300 and what?
31 pounds.
31 pounds. Slimmed down. So, yeah, I mean, incredible game, incredible comeback. It shows that there's a lot of fight in this team. They're never going to quit, which is great because that's an indictment on their coach, that they don't quit. It was fantastic to see. The only thing is that you hope to God that translates into the next game because we don't want to go in a situation where you can't fall behind like that at halftime every single week because more times than not, you're going to lose the game. That's just the way. But the Rams inflicted wounds on themselves by Matt Stafford not passing the ball or reaching the receivers. So, it was a collaborative thing. But either way, the team finds a way to win. It's just that hopefully now this is the blueprint moving forward. And when you say they go around the room slapping and whatever, I could picture Hurts looking at Patullo, just going like this. You see that guy over there? That's A.J. Brown. That's Devontae Smith. That's Dallas Goedert. We're not fucking scrubs. These are guys making top dollar because they're the best in the league. We're not the Carolina Panthers. We're the Philadelphia Eagles. We can pass the damn ball.
Did you see how A.J. after the catch, yards after the catch, the yak, it was just freaking beautiful by A.J. That's what the guy does. He catches it, and then he gets 10, 15 extra yards after the catch. That would be pretty cool, him walking in. Actually, he should have walked in with a stogie. Kevin, come here. Do you see that guy? That's A.J. Brown. Get him the fucking ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You see that guy over there? That's Matt Pryor. Get him the fuck out of here. Fred, get him in here. Then that was it. Literally. Hey, how'd I do my impersonation?
I could just see Patullo and Matt Pryor sitting in the corner staring at each other. Like, what did we do?
Actually, yes. Hey, you want to go out for ice cream afterwards? Anyway, so listen, it was by far the best comeback ever. The adjustment, whatever had to happen, speculation, whatever you want to say, they did great. Fred Johnson, Dan, it was awesome having him in there doing his shit. Jordan Davis, we're going to have to hold that to the end because he did remarkable things throughout this game. Two of them we've got to talk about, which I don't think has ever been heard of here in the NFL doing that but we'll get to that one. Dan, this is all the good news, right? I mean, we talked about all the good stuff. They're 3-0. let's talk a little bit about the bad news. I mean, we've already mentioned with Lane Johnson stinger in his neck. He's a big boy. We understand he does, but he will be back for the Bucs game. He is slated to play. Don't worry about it. What else, Dan, is the bad? Oh, we talked about Matt Pryor. I don't think there's any more we need to talk about on that, so we can move on.
Well, Matt Pryor's getting first-team reps at right tackle right now. So even though Lane's playing, he's still getting first-team reps, which is baffling to me. But, yeah. Well, how about we talk about... Well, how about we talk about the fact that since when does it become an art to catch the goddamn ball on kickoffs? How are we starting inside our 20 when the kickoff rules basically put a touchback out to the 35? How is this happening? I'm looking at the other teams on the 38-yard line, and then I'm having to adjust my seat saying, oh, yeah, they're so close to the goddamn end zone that I can't look straight anymore. It's ridiculous.
You must have saw my note.
The knuckleball, yeah.
The knuckleball. Okay, listen, one time you messed it up, right? You couldn't catch it. Tank was back there, and what was it, Mathis?
Mechie.
Who was back?
Mechie
was back there. Okay, and each of them had a chance. Okay, you grabbed it, they fell back. All right, no big deal. It happened every single time. It was literally, the commentators could say, here it goes, and they dropped it, and I'm literally watching this thing. I'm like, how is this possible? I mean, What are we in, like the Mighty Ducks here? It's my knuckle puck. Like, you can't catch this shit?
Yeah, especially a guy that they just traded for. They traded for Tank Bisbee to help their kick return game, and apparently he didn't get the memo.
Hey, is Britton Covey coming in? Are they pulling him up from the practice squad?
Good God, they need to. No, instead they signed another guy off waivers, another wide receiver. I don't know.
What? I mean, we're not using... Well, special teams is probably the only place we're going to be using them. But either way...
Well, yeah, because Darius Cooper went on IR.
I saw that. We have a couple of things on there. All right. You mentioned special teams. The block punts that happened by Jordan Davis. And it was Jordan Davis and Carter at the same time on the first one.
On the field goals, yeah.
Yeah, so Jalen Carter, so if you watched it, what it came up is it hit Carter's arm, and then Davis was there, and it kind of blocked his as well. That was the first, which was awesome, because when was the last time the Eagles blocked a punt, right? And the game...
been a while.
The game winning, so it did not matter if Jordan Davis scored at all on this block one. He could have just fell on the ball. Eagles won 126.
He wasn't falling. There was no way in hell he was falling on the ball.
He could have. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
The block is what sealed the deal. And so what were they, 2 seconds left, 1 second left?
Yeah.
You and I are probably like, well, this fucking sucks. The stadium was probably clearing out at that time. And then all of a sudden... Davis just comes up and he's coming across. He's like, we knew his angle. We knew his thing. He already did it once. And you're like, there's no way you can get 2 times in this game. And blocks. It goes around and all of a sudden he picks it up and the big boy is running almost 19 miles an hour to the end zone. He did have help just slightly in the beginning there, but other than that, nobody was catching him.
His help was that the current of wind was just pushing his ass.
Was that Sidney Brown helping him? Who was it?
Yeah, that's about the only time Sidney Brown will get screen time.
That's the only time he saw the play and close to the ball.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean, that was a storybook ending for this. This was awesome. I absolutely loved watching this, the ending of it. The game was stressful. I, unfortunately, was not there. I was on a family event. We were at Knoebels, but I was not available between 1 and 4 where I was there. I was actually watching my grandson in the stroller on my phone, so I could stream the game after that. But it was a very stressful game. I'm glad they made the changes. My concern is, will these changes stick? Will there be new stuff? They are playing the Bucs. It's supposed to be 103 out. It's going to be hot as hell. And the Bucs have beat us 3 out of the 4 times in the last time we played?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has a 75% winning percentage against the league, and he's 1-4 against the Bucs.
Yeah. So
That's
there
crazy.
you go. That's exactly it. And it's Baker Mayfield, right? It's all against him.
Yeah, it's Mayfield and Bowles. Bowles just has his number. It's
the weird.
It'll be a good test.
It's like a division game almost now. It's become. We treat the Bucs as if they are the Giant. Well, no, we run over the Giants. Is it like, I don't want to compare them to Dallas because they suck too. We'll have to get back to you on that one.
It's basically like when you watch the Chiefs and the Bills in the playoffs. Every single year, the Chiefs beat the Bills, and that's what the Bucs seem to do to us. But the sprinkle of hope is the fact that last year we didn't have Lane, we didn't have A.J. Brown, we didn't have Devontae Smith for that game, and we do for this game. So you can hope that the tides will switch, especially since Mike Evans is going to be out. So there are some injuries on the Tampa Bay side that will impact the game as well.
Well, Dan, let's talk about the injuries. We'll do our own injury report now. Dan, why don't you give us the injuries heading into the Bucs game?
Yeah, so Jahad Campbell was out on Wednesday. He was a limited participant in Thursday, and I don't believe that they released the ins and outs or, the updated one today because I think they're flying to Florida today.
Yeah, they went a day early to get acclimated to the heat.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Nolan Smith he's on the IR, not expected to be back for 5-6 weeks. I didn't even see what the hell happened to him, to be honest with you.
I didn't even know he was out. What the heck?
Yeah, weird. The guy that I've been clamoring on this show and pretty much to you to start at cornerback, Jacorian Bennett, he's out 5-6 weeks, so we're going to have to put our faith in the lovely, Adoree Jackson, who also left the game injured with a groin. And he was out of practice, so we might be looking at Kelee Ringo time, which is basically just like taking your cornerback 2 spot and throwing it in a dumpster fire. So forget that.
It's really stressful for so far. So you have Bennett out, which we thought that he was the replacement or should have been the replacement for Adoree Jackson, but now, and Ringo was around last year, and we thought he had a step up last year a little bit, but then we watched him in the preseason games, and he just he wasn't there. Let's just say he wasn't in the car. Well, now it's, I guess it's at that point where you have no other choice but to put him in.
He's got to play it as if this is the last shot, because that's what it is.
Last game or last season with the Eagles.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't prove that he's a good player or starter or whatever the hell he wants to be, then he's gone. They wanted him to win the starting job in camp. They basically gave him every opportunity, and
every preseason game he was in immediately. He was the starter for preseason games for him to step up, but he was playing against a bunch of second stringers in most cases, and he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing against second stringers. Imagine what he's going to do against starters. So something's got to change with that. I'm worried about that, but the fact that Mike Evans is not in bodes well. So I think if there's ever a week that you can mask his deficiencies, it will be this week. So I'm happy about that at least. And the only other one that I was concerned about, now he was a limited participant yesterday, was Zack Baun. He had a massive knee brace on Wednesday. He was out. And he had a massive knee brace, one of those where it needed screws to put in. So that kind of freaked me out. But he was out there for a limited yesterday with one of those compression sleeves. So I don't know what the hell that's about, but I don't care if it's compression sleeve or not. We need Zack Baun at 100% because he is the defensive MVP, regardless.
We can't lose him. We can't lose him. I mean, a game, we can sacrifice a game, but not a season. Everything listing it, you've got Bennett out for 5 to 6 IR, Nolan Smith out 5 to 6, Darius Cooper 4 to 5 on your list. They're going to Zack Baun. We're just going to watch him a little bit. Lane Johnson should be back. Adoree Jackson, he's nursing a groin injury. Regardless, he probably will. If he doesn't have it, he'll play like he does anyway. So you got Ringo. Jahad Campbell not practicing, tricep injury. He didn't tear it or anything from what the reports are saying. We all know Brandon Graham was out for pretty much season ending, but came back for the Super Bowl for it.
Yeah.
But regardless, it is the third week. Injuries are stacking up a little bit. Remember, probably by the fourth week, when September's over, that's preseason basically for most teams that are starting in their groove. Either people are injured or they're healing from all their injuries. But yeah, they play the Bucs this Sunday, 1 o'clock, and it's Baker Mayfield. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, so my concern is this, and you said it with the injuries, and it goes off of that. The Eagles as a team right now, guess how many sacks they have on the season?
I'm at 2.
One more than that. They got 3 sacks on the season. So
Well,
even
I was
with
listening. That's pretty bad because
yeah, even with Nolan Smith, you know, they're just not getting pressure with their front four, and you're seeing Fangio blitz more, and which I like.
Last year, their front four was able to get the pressure. That's
Right.
why he didn't have to blitz. Yeah.
Well, now he's blitzing, but he doesn't have an established cornerback too. So something's got to break here. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure that Howie's looking at the fact that they're going to have to start Jalix Hunt, who has been really unimpressive this year. I'm a little shocked at that. Then they're going to have Josh Uche, Zadarius Smith, who I like, but he was basically just hired 2 weeks ago. And now you're going to have to pull Azeez Ojulari, who's not even he's been a healthy scratch, and he's going to have to play significant time. So our front four is looking pretty bad right now. And I don't know how the hell you fix that unless you trade for somebody. But we got to see more pressure on the quarterback for the front four, because you're going to play teams that are going to have much better quarterbacks, than Matthew Stafford, who can be a little mobile. I mean, it's just the front four is going to mask your deficiencies in the secondary. If you don't have the front four, they're going to amplify the deficiencies in the secondary, and we're going to get screwed. So it's going to be hard, and not necessarily just for the Tampa Bay game. I mean, we're talking about way down the road here, but for Tampa Bay specifically, I want to see how Patullo adjusts to Bowles. Bowles is going to blitz him. Will Patullo go more vertical, or will he play it more passive? Because if he plays it more passive, then we're going to have a massive problem. I don't think he's going to play it more passive. Yeah, well, with the dumpster lit on fire, yeah, I'll do that. But it's just, something's got to happen here.
I think the biggest thing with the offense, as we're talking about this, in the first 3 weeks, and you watch this, and even, let's just talk about the passing for a second, is AJ got targeted once in the fourth quarter in the first game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was okay. That's horrible. In the passing in general, and we're running the ball, we're trying to run Saquon up the gut. But nobody's respecting because you're not passing, so they're already stacking the box for you to do it. Saquon's doing great, blocking, staying inside, letting the play develop in some cases. But I can't stand the up-the-gut runs. How about some quick slants? Get your receivers going there. We had Goddard. Goddard was the number one target in the game, and he just totally, devoured them in it. But after that, Goddard got injured, and then he was back last week. And it just, I really get tired of watching, I think, the same 3 plays over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't get it. I mean, these are guys that have been in the league forever. Like you said, Patullo's been with Sirianni since the beginning. He hasn't called plays, but I mean, he's been around good play callers. I mean, he was around Steichen. He was around, Brian Johnson. Okay, throw that out. He was around Kellen Moore, so he did get experience, there. You don't just come in and look that bad. I mean, we're talking about historically bad in that first half. We're not just talking about, oh wow, they looked off. No. They were historically bad. To the point where they were getting booed off the field.
I was trying to look at the first play. Well, so
why would you look at the first half stats? They're like, you want to upset yourself?
No, I was about to take those. I was actually about to pull those up. If you look at the total stats of the game, we rushing yards 86, and we've actually had almost over 100 only because of Hurts in most cases, not Saquon. I would love to see him involved more. 202 passing yards. And you were just what you were saying, the Rams had 160 rushing yards. The Rams actually had 356 total yards to 282 for the Eagles. Now, when was the yards? Wait, did they list Davis here on the... Oh, no, because it's not an offensive play. Man, that would have been freaking cool. Davis's run. What was it? 60 yards? Something like that?
60 yards at 18.6 miles per hour.
So this doesn't even count towards the stats because it was a special team play.
Yeah.
Wow, that's horrible.
It's in the defensive stats, I think.
Wow. Well, yeah, I didn't on that one. But anyway, let's see. Time of possession. First downs. Well, that's not bad. 22-19. The Eagles got 19. The Eagles actually have 40 more seconds than the Rams' time of possessions.
Which that's very surprising because they didn't have the ball much. I mean, you said I think they had like 4 or 5 straight 3-and-outs.
The Eagles had 4 3-and-outs. It was ridiculous. Dan. By the way, the tush push worked great in this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, they still false started.
Yeah, I already saw that one.
Get that. Everybody false starts if you set it to a, basically inch-by-inch frame. Everybody false starts.
That's exactly. And they slow it down. And instead of seeing it in real time. All right. I'm trying to look for punt returns, kickoff. Please hold real quick. Mr. George from ICN is calling me. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. I think he said, yeah, you're done. Mr. George.
Did he say, yeah, you're done and just hang up on you like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm glad I got that on a recording.
Wow, I was busy.
Down. Yeah, you're done. His boss probably called him to, do the fucking...
Wow.
Right?
I thought maybe his call dropped. Speaking to the customer like that?
Yep. Yeah, you're done.
Wow, and just hanging up abruptly like that. Holy crap.
Wow. Because he didn't want to fucking work here on a Friday night. What a dick.
Jesus Christ. I would get up from my chair and just beat the shit out of him.
I would slap him. I would Kevin Patullo you. All right, let's get back to this. Everybody, we're recapping what happened with the Eagles-Rams. The score does not really reflect the game entirely. The Eagles were not doing anything on offense except for that first touchdown. We thought they were going to run all over them and then blah in the first half. And then in the second half, miraculously, somebody got slapped according to Hugh Douglas, and Patullo might not have been doing the play calling. And this is coming from a former Eagle, and you're sure how he's calling him up going, yo, man, you can't put that stuff on the air. But there's Jalen. Motherfucker, I slapped him.
I run this shit.
Did you see Jalen Hurts' face after Jordan Davis blocked it and ran it in?
Just
his composure.
Just no emotion.
I actually respect the guy in that. I understand it. My wife said, look at it. He didn't have any emotion to it. I would have been jumping up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not phased when shit goes wrong or shit goes right. But maybe in the background, maybe in the behind the scenes, he's, obviously we saw him animated on the sideline. But I think holding your composure when you're losing really freaking bad and not passing the ball and coming back and doing it, I like that. I mean, I guess I respect the guy for that now that you understand that he doesn't have that emotional touch. The other thing is, how big is it of Jalen to take this game on his shoulders with Jordan Davis? We have to give him props for it. And Fred Johnson for holding the line for him. To just take it and win, to come back and win. We were all thought this was a loss.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Everybody was talking about, we did our own show about the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, all this other shit. And how
it was
winning
top
is
10, and I think Jalen was 9 on the list.
And how winning has become a secondary stat.
Yep.
The man has a clutch gene. You can't deny it. And there all these great quarterbacks, you want to talk about Lamar Jackson. His gene is to fold entirely. Josh Allen, he's like in between. He can never get over the hump. He's more like a Peyton Manning type where he gets there, he just doesn't get over the hump. Whereas Jalen just wins. That has to count for something. The guy is just a winner. And I'll be the first to tell you that the lack of emotion and everything in probably his first year or two kind of was off-putting to me. I wasn't really that big of a fan of his. But as you watch him, the guy just wins. And all the critics that say, oh, well, any person could win with this team, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. Because there's just something different about him.
I agree.
It doesn't matter. He does what's needed to be done, whether or not it's slapping Patullo, whether or not it's giving him a quick shin kick or whatever to get him to sit down. He wins the game.
Dan, real quick before we end the show, we got 2 things to do. One, last week, your prediction for the game was 30-27.
Okay. I didn't think it would play out like that, but yeah, the final score was close.
Yeah. My prediction was 35-31. I'm going to say you were definitely closer on that, really.
No,
you
really.
did predict, 35, 31, 33, 31. I'm off by 5 on a thing. I think yours is closer in the long run. You did predict that Saquon won't run over 255 yards.
Well, got that one.
When you only have 288 yard total offense. Yeah, that's we were hoping for it. This game did not play out as one would predicted. Very interesting.
Just as it was scripted.
According to the NFL, we wrote the script on this. All right, Dan, we are playing the Bucs. It's time for your prediction.
I actually think that they go in there and they get the win. I am going to say that it's going to be a 27-17 game. I actually think that it's not going to come down to last possession. I think that they're going to get things going. I think they're honestly going to come out and throw the ball consecutively, and then it's going to set up the run. I really do think that there was discussions to be had this week about how we should run the offense, and I think you're going to see those play out.
Dan, I'm going off of this past week's score, not how they played, by the way, because if I did that, I'd have a heart attack or something. Eagles, and I don't believe it's going to be, 17, so 27-17, 2 possession, very, very tough for me. I do think the Eagles are going to be in the 30s. All right. I'm going to go with 33. I think it's going to be 33-21.
That would be good too.
And the reason I do is I want the Bucs to feel that they are behind, and then they can't get past that. They're just swimming, and they're just too exhausted, dehydrated, even though they should be well hydrated knowing that's their home field. So I'm going to 33-21. That is my prediction for this game. Now, the biggest thing that we're going in here is I'm going to ask you, do we finally establish a good passing game in this?
In this game, I do think that we're going to have a good passing game. I think you're going to see a lot of more quick slants because of the blitz that's going to come. Because it doesn't matter if, they're still passing well. Todd Bowles blitz no matter what. But I think you're going to see them counter that with a lot more quick slants. And that pretty much is A.J. Brown's bread and butter. Quick slant, break tackles. So I think you're going to see more creativity. Well, let me put it this way. I hope you see more creativity, because if they come out flat again, then I'm going to be at your house. Then I'm going to just have to throw something.
Yeah, we'll be watching it here at my house along with our grandkids' birthday party that's happening. So we got a dual stuff really kind of going on. One of the things that I hope in this game is, do you really think you can change up the offense this early in the season, or change up the offense that you haven't really kind of practiced for, of mixing things up, blending things in, and doing some mesh plays? I mean, is it really a possibility?
I think you can go more mesh plays. Yeah, I think you can transition. Like, you're not going to overhaul your offense and say, okay, now we're going to run a 60-40 split, passing over running. But I think you're going to see them come closer to that 50-50 split. And it's not even that. It's more, we're going to run more creative patterns instead of just this 4 verticals crap that we're running. We're going to run motion. We're going to stop running out of the goddamn pistol formation. We're going to run more RPOs because we know that worked last year. So why would we not run it this year? And I think you're going to see the hurry up more, because the hurry up was very taxing on the defense. Now, I don't know if you're going to see it as much as I'd like because of the heat, but I think you'll see them run it more, because that'll allow Hurts to actually call the plays at the line a little bit, check in, check out. Because one thing that I have noticed in all these games is that Patullo gets the calls in very late. And by the time Hurts gets to the line, there's about 9 to 8 seconds. 9 to 8 seconds is not enough time to evaluate the defense and then look at the blitz this way, that way, and make a check at the line. So I think you're going to see more of the hurry up.
That would be nice. All right, everybody, I got to wrap things up. Dan, I'll let you do the closing remarks.
Yeah, I think definitely we're in for a good game. I'm proud that the team is 3-0, and, I guess we're out of here.
All right, everybody, this has been the Philly Fan Radio. I'm your host, John Myer, along with Dan Palmieri. And maybe or maybe not, we'll see some slapping happening at the Bucs game. And until next time, go Birds!
Go Birds!